Thank you. Nice to see everyone. I'm Mike Genstill, the founder and CEO of ValueCore. I'm talking about embedding value realization trends and content in customer deliverables. So I'm going to talk for a few minutes on value realization, the holy grail of customer success, why it's hard or at least perceived to be hard, beliefs that innovators have, a little lights, camera, action on how it can work, and then a crawl, walk, run approach to value realization. So my background is sales strategy and channel sales at places like Cloudflare, New Relic, Adobe, Versa. I founded the value selling function at New Relic, which encompassed coaching and training dozens of global sales reps on how to communicate value in customer deals. And I'm a computer science business type. But I had a moment to reflect on when I saw Jeffrey Moore was speaking and then realized that all of you are true innovators in your field. You're really pushing the profession of customer success to the next level, and it's been a real honor to get to know several of you. And I just had the chance to reflect on the timeless innovator books that I've read over the last 30 years, and Crossing the Chasm is certainly at the top of the list, and I'm actually honoring Jeff in my presentation here by including some of his content. But these others, Tipping Point, Innovator's Dilemma, and Value Migration, should be on your reading list if you haven't gotten to them yet. But they will be with you for the rest of your life as you think about innovating. So value realized is the holy grail for customer success. What is value realized? It's helping your customer, both your point of contact and the executive in their organization, who's the sponsor, to understand the operational and financial value of your solution. And your solution does have operational and financial value, of course, and your sales reps who are selling the solution are convincing the buyers of that. And what we need to do in customer success is to continue to demonstrate that over the life of the relationship. Now, in honor of Jeffrey Moore, I brought forward his adoption curve, starting with the far right. And this concept of value selling is really, it's not a new concept, but the concept is, again, calculating the prospective or actual value that I'm delivering to my customers. And so we see across vertical industries, marketing, sales, customer success leaders, and everybody is doing this at various stages in the buyer's journey. And I would say today, maybe 20% of companies, and this is going to vary by sector and by whether you're SMB focused or enterprise focused, don't have strong consensus around how we deliver ROI. The late majority, this is a substantial group of organizations. They do have ROI spreadsheets or total cost of ownership spreadsheets used by pre-sales, perhaps in an inconsistent fashion. There are now many organizations that have full-time individuals dedicated to value selling. They're called business value services or value engineering. Many of these folks started their careers at SAP and Oracle and are now leading value functions at hundreds and hundreds of companies. The next group are early adopters of a new flavor of SaaS platform. We offer one of them. It's called Customer Value Management. And so it's a SaaS platform that allows you to very quickly and elegantly communicate a value prop to a buyer. And then the innovators, and I'm curious if there's a show of hands, are folks who are actually calculating and presenting business value realized today. I think it's a small group. Thank you. All right, we have one. Fantastic. Love to catch up with you about that. So it's doable. It is doable. It requires a little bit of art, a little bit of science, and we're going to talk a little bit about this. So first of all, why is this hard? Why are people not doing it? Okay, so I think these are my four primary hypotheses. The first is value calculations are not standardized inside of the organization. Okay, so somebody created an ROI spreadsheet. Maybe it's worked in a couple of deals, but there's not general consensus across marketing and sales that this is how we should present value. Number two, maybe we do have those value calculations, but then the usage data doesn't necessarily or clearly predict the actual value delivered. And so I think what Ravit just showed, there's a nice 1-2 punch here where she's allowing it in an automated way, take out the usage data, and now we're going to be able to leverage that to correlate it to value realized and value delivered. The third is sometimes if we are truly focused on outcomes and our customers do want to measure outcomes, they've got the data in their system and we just may not have it. And we have a strong collaborative relationship, but they still just haven't provided us data around how many more deals did they win, or how much did they save in this certain area. So there does require some level of collaboration in some ways. And then fourth is just, I see a game of hot potato. People want to do it, but there isn't a person who is skilled and dedicated to this particular function. So those are the four main things that we see. But there is good news, as I alluded to earlier. Your solution is delivering value, okay? And all of us are selling to a buyer who reports in some way, shape, or form up to a CFO. And these are the magical words that CFOs care about: hard cost savings, productivity gains, revenue growth, and risk mitigation. And the hard cost savings is worth its weight in gold. And when we engage with customers, we really, really methodically go through each of these and say, how is your solution delivering hard cost savings? How can it? How is it delivering productivity gains? We actually see a common mistake where people blend productivity gains and hard cost savings in the same document or the same graph. And we want to kind of break those out and help the CFO see we're actually saving dollars or euros, whatever currency you're in. But if you go through this systematically, you'll be delighted in many cases to say you're actually touching each of these or a substantial percentage. And that tells the story in a very compelling way. And just to give you a taste, so we have several customers in each of these sectors, and I know each of you sell to various of these sectors. I could go through, if there were more time, hard cost, productivity, revenue, and how you would talk about it by industry, but I just started here with hard cost savings. And so there's part of the science is going through for-year solutions saying, okay, I'm selling into a healthcare buyer. Am I reducing expenditures on claims? Am I reducing expenditures on third-party administrators? All of the things that CFOs and VPs in that sector care about, am I achieving those? And then you go through the next category, productivity. How am I helping people save time? Doctors, if I save time for doctors, that's very valuable because their time is very valuable, of course. So the way to think about the problem is I've got verticals, and then I've also got personas. So personas care about a certain set of KPIs as well. So the process is to kind of think methodically about which vertical am I selling to, which buyers am I selling to in that vertical, and these things are generally standard across sectors, and so if we can go through and identify these things, we can make progress more quickly than we realize. So, innovators in the room that want to get to this holy grail, I think there are three core principles you must maintain. The first is hoping and praying at renewal time works sometimes, doesn't always work. So we must go into enterprise renewals, and I say enterprise deals over 50K ARR, certainly over 100K ARR. There's a concept of fatigue, SaaS fatigue in particular. Many of our buyers are subscribing to 50 to 80 SaaS applications. They have to think about it every year, as they should. So we should be walking into those renewals with a business case. The second is boiling the ocean is not required, and we do see a lot of paralysis because you don't have super hard data, you don't have a clear handshake with the customer that this is the way to calculate value. Something is better than nothing, and if we hit on a couple of data points with some credibility, it is really, really powerful. And the third is the visuals. And this is a little self-interested on my part, but if you can automatically create beautiful content with beautiful charts that leverage the existing decks that your marketing team are creating, they're already creating beautiful icons, can we embed dynamic data with charts that tells a trend story that's compelling? This is how you're going to win the hearts and minds of the operational and financial sponsors for your solution. So the vision that we're going to get to is the customer's original stated goals and benchmark metrics pre-sale are captured in the CRM and then synced with Totango. And then when you kick off your relationship with the customer as the CS leader, your onboarding presentation includes some of that content. And then each quarter you're able to systematically, as part of your business review, generate quarter over quarter or month over month, depending on how often you're doing it, analysis that shows your progress against those benchmarks. So this is kind of what our platform does, and I'm going to show a quick demonstration. But I really appreciated what Stephanie said yesterday, because it's very analogous to how we think about it, which is embedding value in each customer touch in the journey. Their first visit to your website, your outbound messages in pre-sale, when your sales rep does discovery, at presentation and proposal time, and then of course in customer success and account reviews time. We're embedding and presenting value moments or value snippets in the form of an email, an image, PowerPoint, et cetera, at each step, and integrating with these different components and data sources of truth is key to this. So this is just one sample of a user interface that one of the folks in retail tech who we engage with likes to think about. So as they engage with a customer, they offer a number of different modules. They're trying to help large grocery stores save time, save money, or reduce inventory, et cetera. And so the sales rep selects different components. And then as I'm engaging with a customer, I learn a little bit about their business. Some of this data might already be in the CRM system. Some I may need to confirm with the customer. But what I'm doing is I'm just doing discovery, trying to understand what the customer cares about, their state of the state. They're trying to expand in Carmel and Monterey and Pacific Grove, for example. So all of this data would be synced with my CRM and then ultimately my Totango. So I'm learning a little bit about the customer, and then very quickly I'm presenting a back-of-the-envelope total cost of ownership estimate. And I might do this early in the sales cycle. And what you're seeing here is we're going through phase 1, phase 2, and then post-sale is what we call business value realized. So I can see prospectively how much am I going to be able to save this customer over time. As I proceed through the sales cycle, I now want to look at a 5-year total cost of ownership. And by the way, this is a very robust analysis. Most of our customers are doing stuff that's much, much simpler, just giving you a taste of what could be possible. But what I'm looking at here is metrics that are measurable. How many stores do they have at the end of the period? Sales by semester. So this is my pre-sale projection of total cost savings. Now, by the glory of the heavens above, this becomes a customer. And now I move into BVR mode. So this is what we call business value realized mode. And so now maybe I'm a few months later into the relationship, and now I've got my actual data on how many stores I have, what my inventory is, safety stock improvement. Now this data could be typed in, it could be pulled in through Totango, could be imported via Excel, but now it allows me to see what I'm actually achieving versus my expectation. And then I do an export to PowerPoint, and I can have a whole variety of PowerPoint templates. I generate a very nice looking report, okay? And nobody's doing this today, and that's why I showed that value selling maturity chart initially. To be able to do this with a few clicks and entering some data is very novel, and it's very exciting when you're actually doing it. So this is kind of one version of what a set of visuals can look like. Shifting to another sector, HR. Let's say I'm selling an HR platform to a head of HR, and this is the 7th quarter of my relationship. I might want to be talking to that HR leader about registrations, active users. So all of the data that I might already have in my software, I can see this as an HR platform. I can see the growth. But then I also want to talk about the value. And so here what I'm doing is I'm betting, here's what you're spending with us currently, $30,000 a year, and you're saving estimated $600,000 a year in content development savings because we're estimating that it costs about $8,500 to develop an hour of e-learning content. And then I can look at this by number of users. I can look at it a variety of ways, and then I get to an ROI summary. And then again, I can do an export to PowerPoint and generate a dynamic deck. So I'm equipping my CSM very quickly and easily to create a deck that they can share with the customer. And in fact, we can go one step further, which is to send a link to the customer and allow them to collaborate on the data, okay? And that's very, very powerful. Now, this is ultimately your deck. This will be your design, your UI, et cetera. But the idea of sharing a link here is to say, hey, before you take this to your executive leadership team, I want you to look at the numbers, play with it, make sure that it makes sense to you, and then they can collaborate and they can create their version of the deck. Okay, so that's just a quick snapshot of what's possible in terms of automating this and making it really easy to create these beautiful deliverables. So some of the concerns or fears folks may have is, well, again, I don't have the value model. There's not consensus on the team. Well, this can be done quickly-ish, in effectively 4 weeks, and the process is to leverage the stuff you've already got. You've already got, where it says proposals and presentations, you've already got compelling presentations that you're using in pre-sales to get your buyer excited about your value prop. You've also got case studies. I would be willing to bet that close to 100% of people in here have some case studies. Those are talking about your value. So we can leverage your existing assets, which you've invested a lot of time and money in organizationally, and then back into, through a cross-functional workshop, with typically including product, marketing, and sales, some calculations. And again, we've got this library of KPIs that we think about. You may have your own calculations to leverage. And ultimately, this is something you can start using very, very quickly, and then create your own value talk track and value message. And then at the time of value realization, when we're in quarter 3, quarter 4, quarter 5 of the relationship, the data points that can be leveraged are telemetry from your application. That was one of the words and concepts that Jeffrey talked about yesterday. Things like logins, courses completed, invoices processed. These are all activities and usage that then drive the value realized, leveraging those calculations. Sometimes you'll have to get an export from your customer systems. Your customer may not tell you, or you may not have access to how many incremental deals they won or lost or retained thanks to your software, or how much money they saved with recruiters. So this might require some synchronization. And then you've always got this issue of productivity gains. I would be willing to bet that close to 100% of you are selling a solution that helps your customers be more productive. And you're probably telling them they're going to, in a pre-sale mode, we're going to save 20 to 40% of your time on A or B or C. Well, you can actually go out and ask customers, hey, how much time did you spend on this 2 months ago, 3 months ago? What is it now? And even if they're not 100% sure, if it's directional, it's still a heck of a lot better than nothing at all. So that is the quick and dirty on value realization. I think the main takeaway is something is better than nothing, and you really can get started. So feel free to contact me, but it's been a pleasure to meet many of you and get to know you. Thank you.